So, I ended up not actually doing that last video for Miltober 2023 because I would have expected more than like 4 people to watch it. And now I just feel like doing it like almost 2 years later. So, I'm just gonna do the last 11 and hopefully I can remember what I said about or thought about them. Okay, so anyway, prompt 21 was charge. I actually drew this one twice and they were from 2 different angles. The first one was not thinking of the prompt, I immediately thought of the breaching charge from that game called Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the original one. Even though it wouldn't make any sense, a breaching charge, because of the explosion, because of how close they stood when it goes off. I just decided to say they have video game protection on, or invincibility. I drew mercs in this. On the left are just 2 unnamed grunts, while the one on the right is called Merc Rampage, or just Rampage. Merc doesn't make sense with the code name, and I don't know why she's called that. That's just what I came up with. She has definitely shown up before in previous drawings. I don't know if it was from 2023, but she definitely has shown up in drawings before. I don't remember the story of this. They're just in a building about to blast down a door for whatever reason, but it fits the prompt. If I have to rate this drawing now, it would be lower than it would have been if I rated it in 2023, because my drawing skill has evolved a lot since 2023. So it would probably be a 6 out of 10 if I drew this now, but back then it would probably be a 7. So 7, I guess. I'll just give it the score I would have given it back in 2023, which is just +1 to whatever I give it now. The prompt 22's one was reload, and this one, this one really was basic, even though it has a bit of background back there. It's just lines, but I would still classify this one as basic rather than a normal one. Really, the only thing you could add in the background is like either clouds or mountains, if they aren't in a city. For it to be a normal one, I would have to draw a background in it. That's how I would classify drawings or categorize drawings. If they have a background, they are normal. If they don't have a background, they are basic. Though even this has a background, it's just too basic to be a normal drawing. Therefore, it is a basic drawing. I also think this is the second worst drawing for Miltober. Yeah, I don't really like this one. It's too basic, like I said. I have definitely done another reloading one before, and it's way better looking, I would say. But it's just reloading. There's not much you could do in it. I think this is a Defense Force soldier, back when that was still a thing. Now they're just the Iron Corps, what I recently decided. Like, this would just be a 6 out of 10, it wouldn't even be higher back then. It's just a 6 out of 10, I didn't like it back then either. Could have been way better. Prompt 23 was pilot. This one has a lot of detail, it being because it's in a cockpit of a Blackbird helicopter, which belongs to the Mercs, and this is their pilot. For some reason, my friend calls her the pilot girl. I mean, she doesn't really have a code name. And the guy on the right there is just another unnamed grunt. Also, I don't know if it was on purpose, but the guy on the right has a bandage over his helmet. Don't know how effective that would be, but it's funny it's there. It makes this very goofy. Well, I also made a reference for this in Blender. Well, that's only half true. I use it to organize my 3D models for drawing, and then I found a reference for it, and the found reference was exactly what I pictured as well, and what I made in Blender. If I drew this today, it would still kind of hold up, but the shading would have been way better. Like, there would have been more darker parts and lighter parts of the cockpit, so that you could actually see more of the detail more clearly. This would have been a 9 out of 10 back then, and it's probably one of the best ones out of the Miltober challenge. Prompt 24 was tourniquet. Looks a bit sus. Don't know if I made the tourniquet accurate how it would have worked in real life, but tried. The characters and setting are based off this comic I drew way before this challenge, where these 2 characters are on this mission in the forest and stuff happens. And according to this, one of them gets shot in the leg and it's really bad, so she whips out the tourniquet to stop the bleeding, and it hurts a lot as she puts it on the dude's leg. The background also uses that tree technique thing. I probably have explained it before, but it's the reason why the background's so easy to draw when it's a forest. Also, I think one of them is supposed to be a merc and the other's supposed to be an Iron Corps soldier, and I think the gear is just completely made up. I never really draw that much detail on the gear, even though military gear is very detailed, but I don't draw that because it kind of wouldn't fit with the style, and having to do that over and over in comics would be insane. So I would give this one like 7 out of 10. Not too interesting. Oh yeah, I think they have code names as well. They go by Hydra and Digit. Day 25's prompt was dud. Now, if you don't know what dud means, it's basically ammunition that hasn't gone off properly, like explosives. So I threw this one where a mortar round didn't go off when it hit the ground. Right next to, I think, is supposed to be a merc. I can't tell from the weapon he's using. He doesn't even have that stripe on his helmet. I think it is a merc in what looks to be a trench or something. They're also under attack, if that wasn't evident already. I think I can remember where this trench is. I think it's near a mountain, because I can see one, and near an ocean. I think that's all I can remember from this. That guy probably wouldn't have survived if the mortar round wasn't a dud. This perspective looks kind of wrong or odd looking because of that guy in the background. Might have been a reference. Just because it looks a bit weird, it's probably a 7 out of 10, a bit higher than I would give it now. Day 26's prompt was non-combatant. Now this one still kind of looks good with the standards of the day. I remember I got the idea for this from that COD MW 2019 trailer where that kid looks back wearing a gas mask while crouching on a hill, and I thought that looked really cool. The way he turns though looked kind of epic. Couldn't really mimic that in the drawing because it's a drawing, still frame, but this is supposed to be a medic with a wounded soldier and 2 other civilians hiding in the war zone. I think I can remember where this is supposed to be. I think it's Backlot from Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the one from 2007. I also think the soldiers are part of the Iron Corps, the old Iron Corps, from the old gear I'm seeing, same as the medic. I changed the Iron Corps last year, basically making them a part of the Defense Force soldiers, or something like that. So much lore has changed. It would take an entire video to explain what happened. Anyway, this would be an 8 out of 10. The turnaround would really look cool if it was animated. Yeah, I do animation now. Prompt 27 was water. Now, just because there's water in this, I don't know how to make water look any better than this while being stylized without it looking realistic. The character in this actually has a name. It's Anton. I don't know if he has appeared before in the Miltober challenge, but he has appeared in one of the videos and in one of the previous drawings that wasn't a challenge. I think he's really recognizable from the white hair and the bandana, and you'll be able to see him in a crowd of people very easily. He's also a part of the mercs as well, but like more special ops than the grunts you usually see. It's a company of mercs. I don't know if I've said that before, but I also don't know if that's the way they work, but that's what I'm calling it. So in this one he's using an M4, which the mercs like to use American weapons and vehicles and stuff. Also, him coming out of the water looks very special ops. This one back then probably would have gotten a 7 out of 10 just because I did something very, I think, unique with the prompt because it was a very hard one. Day 28's prompt was mechanized. I could have done something very interesting with this, but in military context, it refers to the use of motorized vehicles and weapons to conduct warfare. Everyone went with mechanized infantry, which just means infantry units being transported or supported by armored vehicles. That's all that means. This probably could have been way more interesting than it already is if I leaned into the mech part of the word and drew an actual military mech or something like that, which I'm good at drawing. This one shows mercs in what I think are BTR 80s. I don't know why it's the specific APC. I just said they like using American weapons and vehicles, but the choice of APC makes this look very similar to stuff that happened in the real world. Also, I have no idea why everyone on the right APC is doing the face. The shading is really gonna look bad across all of these before I got better at it last year. Though in this one it still gives the feeling of motion, though. It's still kind of okay, at least in this one. I would give this one like an 8 out of 10, even still with the standards of the day. Day 29's prompt was Chaplain. Not sure if these are mercs or the old version of the Iron Corps, because they had similar gear before the change. The stripe on the helmet makes me think they are Iron Corps soldiers, because that's what they used to have on their helmets. They still kind of do now. This one was kind of hard to decide what to draw without it just being a dude in an office or a dude standing in a field. The blank sky isn't really adding anything. I mean, all you could have add is clouds or mountains if they aren't in a city, like I said. But this is still okay for the prompt. It looks really good. This would be 7 out of 10. Couldn't really put any action into this one because I think a chaplain is also a non-combatant. Prompt 30 was jet, and there's a lot of sky in this one, without clouds even, so it's just gonna look like a lot of blank, which is the reason I added speed lines to it. These are probably SU 57s, like I wonder why. Like, I didn't even do the line weight thing I do now to make drawings like this stand out when they have a blank background like that, aka basic drawing. I might have used a 3D model for this to make a reference, but this is just 7 out of 10. There needs to be more stuff in the background, but it's just a basic drawing. And this one for 31 is resupply. This one at least has clouds to make it less blank. Like the resupply crate is clearly based off the care package score streak from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. I really liked this when I finished it back then to finish off Miltober, since this challenge really made me try really hard to do good drawings with background and a lot more detail. Also like using 3D models to my advantage. I don't really know how I could explain how. I could explain it in the video maybe, or maybe not, I don't know. It's not really that hard to do. Anyway, I would probably give this like a 7 out of 10 because of the perspective on the box. So yeah, okay, I finally finished the video that I was supposed to finish like almost 2 years ago. Since then, I've already done like 2 other Miltober challenges, and I'm currently doing one now in my free time again. I'm like doing previous year's challenges as well in my free time, and maybe I'll cover those in a new video. I'll probably not do it the same way I'm doing this now. Like, I think I have to show them because my drawings have evolved, my skill has evolved so much since these last 2 videos. Even though it has a bit of the background in the background. Oh, that didn't make sense. I also like the resupply.